Harrison Williams and Mona Bismarck lived a life that seemed to leap straight from the pages of a dazzling novel. Their story is one of meteoric rise, lavish living, and reinvention, a tale filled with yachts, mansions, jewels, and the social sparkle of the Jazz Age. Yet behind the glitter was also a story of resilience, love, and navigating the highs and lows of extraordinary lives. Hi everyone, Ken here. Today we are uncovering the many mansions of America's richest couple in the 1930s. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. Mona Strader was born in 1897 in Louisville, Kentucky, and her early years were far from gilded. Her parents divorced when she was 5, and she was raised by her paternal grandmother in an environment more practical than privileged. Even as a young girl, Mona stood out for her striking beauty, sharp wit, and an innate sense of poise. But she wasn't just a pretty face. Mona had an ability to navigate complex social landscapes and a relentless drive to create a better life for herself. Her first marriage, at the age of 20, was to Henry Schlesinger, a wealthy industrialist nearly 2 decades her senior. The match may have provided her a financial cushion, but it wasn't built to last. Mona made a bold and controversial decision when she divorced Schlesinger, giving him custody of their son in exchange for a trust fund that ensured her independence. At a time when women had limited opportunities outside of marriage, Mona's move was as audacious as it was pragmatic. It set a pattern for her life. She would not be defined by societal expectations. Her second marriage to James Irving Bush, famous for his dashing looks, was equally unfulfilling, but Mona refused to let personal setbacks diminish her. When that relationship ended, she moved to New York City where she opened a chic dress shop with a friend. It was during this time she met Harrison Williams, reputed to be the wealthiest man in America with a fortune built on public utilities. Harrison, like Mona, had come from humble means. He was originally from Ohio, where he had worked in a bicycle factory before moving to New York to become a carpet sweeper. With a little bit of savings and a lot of dumb luck, he struck it rich in his mid-30s after founding the American Gas and Electric Company, which had investors throwing money at him. By the 1920s, he had become the richest man in America, with a net worth nearly double that of the dwindling Vanderbilt fortune. For Harrison and Mona, it was love at first sight, and the couple married in 1926. They went on a year-long honeymoon aboard Harrison's Warrior, the largest private yacht in the world at the time. Their journey, which spanned the globe, was more than just a display of wealth, it was a showcase of Mona's growing confidence in her role as a tastemaker. She collected art and jewels, including a breathtaking 98.6 karat blue sapphire, but more importantly, she learned how to command attention and wield influence. Now at the very top of the social ladder, she was featured in Vogue magazine, had her portrait painted by Salvador Dali, and became known around the world for her looks and her ability to influence fashion. Notable designers such as Coco Chanel crafted gowns for her to wear in the hopes that she would be photographed with their brands visible to the American public. But it wasn't just her fashion that had the world captivated, it was her style. When the couple returned from their honeymoon, they began purchasing mansions in key cities all around the world, oftentimes in highly visible locations that demanded attention. The first mansion they purchased was the Willard D. Straight House along Manhattan's Fifth Avenue. It had originally been completed in 1915 and designed by famed architects Delano and Aldrich. Entering the mansion, you step into the rotunda with a dizzying, checkered marble floor below a coffered dome soaring overhead. Continuing through the doors, we find the dining room, clad in wall panels with a Georgian fireplace anchoring the room. Turning around, we'll pass through the rotunda once again to make our way over to the reception room. This is where we can imagine the couple's guest waiting for them before their live-in staff would announce their presence. We'll take one last trip into the rotunda to find the grand staircase peeking out from behind an archway and begin making our way up to the next level. Up here we find rich wood paneling with Japanese screens marking the entrance to the drawing room. For as lavish as their Manhattan mansion was, it would pale in comparison to their other estates. In Bayville, on Long Island, Harrison purchased Dunstable, the former estate of Winslow Shelby Pierce II. It had originally been designed as a country estate by Babcock and Willard and had been completed in 1903. After the couple's marriage, Mona hired Delano and Aldrich to completely reimagine the estate through a series of renovations and alterations. When it was all said and done, their country estate, renamed Oak Point, became a private leisure park with tennis courts, a pool, and a playhouse. To enter the property, you would pass through the gate, marked by dueling gatehouses. Then you would wind your way up the drive, finding gardens lined with statues and fountains. On our way to the house, we'll make a few stops to check out the amenities, starting with the pool house boasting a massive indoor pool. Similarly, the indoor tennis courts occupy their own building with a glass roof soaring overhead to allow an ample natural sunlight. Over at their playhouse, we find a casual dining room and sitting room, not to mention plenty of guest rooms. Let's zoom out on the property to see how all this comes together, then make our way to the waterfront main house. We'll approach the front door, passing between statues of dogs as we make our way up the steps. Just to orient ourselves, we'll note that as we enter the mansion, we pass below a grand bifurcated staircase to find the main hall. Now we can see the grand staircase rounding out to either side of the vestibule doors. Taking a step back, we can see how all of this comes together with floor-to-ceiling richwood wall paneling, Jacobean ceilings beyond the colonnade, and a domed ceiling soaring overhead with intricate hand stenciling. The dining room continued these themes, but what I haven't told you yet is that all these pictures are from before the renovations. The entrance hall was modernized along with several of the other rooms, including the library, which we can only imagine might have shared the same decorative themes as the main hall and dining room. While New York is where the couple spent most of their time, they also had a house down in Palm Beach. In 1930, they purchased Blythe Dunes, the former vacation home of Robert Dunn Douglas. Their house on North Ocean Boulevard had already been through several changes, being originally designed by H. Mundy and later altered by Marion Sims Wyeth, the same architect who designed Marjorie Merriweather Post's Mar-a-Lago. Entering the mansion, you would step into the rotunda where the grand staircase wraps up and around the cylindrical room. The dining room was considered the height of fashion at the time, with modernist influences and all-white textiles. The house contained large galleries flanked by windows overlooking the water, gardens, and pool. Each room was decorated with different themes, some of which boasted loud color palettes. Others were more refined, with flamboyant wall panels and elaborate plasterwork paired with marble fireplace surrounds. For a mansion that was only ever used a few weeks out of each year, it certainly met the couple's needs. As mentioned, most of their lavish lifestyle occurred in the 1930s, and even as the Great Depression wiped out much of Harrison's fortune, Mona adapted. While others might have crumbled under the weight of such loss, she remained a symbol of grace and resilience. The couple sold their yacht and some of their properties, living out of only 2 floors of their Manhattan mansion, but Mona never lost her poise. She hosted intimate gatherings and continued to use her position to champion the arts, fostering relationships with creatives and intellectuals that extended beyond mere socializing. After Harrison's death in 1953, Mona inherited $90 million, but she didn't retreat into widowhood. Instead, she embraced a new chapter, marrying Count Eddie von Bismarck, the grandson of the famed German chancellor. The union, though unconventional, was a partnership that allowed Mona to explore her passions further. She acquired a villa on the Isle of Capri, Il Fortino, where she cultivated magnificent gardens that became legendary. In her later years, Mona devoted herself to philanthropy. She established the Mona Bismarck Foundation, using her wealth to promote Franco-American cultural relations. Her Paris townhouse became a hub for art and culture, hosting exhibitions that showcased the very best of both nations. Mona's legacy as a patron of the arts ensured that her influence extended far beyond her lifetime. When she passed away in 1983, she left behind far more than jewels, art, or even real estate. She left a legacy of reinvention and empowerment. Mona was not simply the wife of one of the wealthiest men in American history, she was a woman who shaped her destiny and lived her best life. As far as the couple's many mansions, their Manhattan home continues to stand to this day. However, their Long Island country estate has since been demolished, as was their Palm Beach vacation home. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. Which house was your favorite, or maybe something else stuck out to you? Either way, let me know what you're thinking down below in the comments section, and while you're there, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.